The oldest of all human disciplines is philosophy. Despite its age, precedence, and pervasiveness, it is elusive of precise and agreeable definitions. This non-pervasiveness of any definition is due to the immensity of the discipline and its perspectivistic character. However, we can approach the study of philosophy with the aim of knowing what it is, understand its meaning, essence, and nature, either by studying the history of philosophy, or by examining the different philosophical schools and movements, or by studying the different branches of philosophy. This last approach will be adopted in this chapter. Branches of philosophy. Different authors may classify philosophy differently, but generally and more predominantly, philosophy can be classified into four main branches. They are metaphysics, epistemology, axiology, and logic. These branches will be discussed here, one after the other. In doing this, we shall adopt a thematic approach. Metaphysics. Meaning and nature of metaphysics. Like philosophy, metaphysics has a long history. It began in ancient time and spans through the history of philosophy. As a matter of fact, metaphysics is the oldest branch of philosophy. In Western European sense, philosophical speculations began with theos, metaphysical speculations, in ancient Greece. The term metaphysics is derived from two Greek words, meta, which means after, and physica, which means physics. Put together, it etymologically means after physics. This concept was coined by Andronicus of Rhodes, who was an editor of Aristotle's work. In his arrangement of the work of Aristotle, he placed the ones that deal with nature first, and then placed others next. The ones he placed last he called after physics, or after the things of nature. Metaphysics is also derived from the works of early Greek philosophers entitled Concerning Nature. These works were concerned with what can be likened to present-day physical science. In addition to these works concerning nature, were also speculations concerning the meaning and nature of the universe. These speculations or questions arise after the physical problem have been resolved and were concerned with what lies after or beyond the physical world of sensory experience. From these rationalizations, metaphysics etymologically means the study of reality or things beyond the physical, or the study of what lies beyond the physical world of sensory experience. In the course of time and usage, metaphysics acquired a meaning wider in scope than its etymological conception. It has been conceived as the study of existence and what lies beneath it. It is the study of being qua being. Will Durant defined it as the study of the ultimate reality of all things, of the real and final nature of matter, ontology. It is defined by Pantaleon Aeroglu as the branch of philosophy that studies reality as such. That is, in its most comprehensive scope and fundamental principles, it is the science that tries to determine the nature of things. Metaphysics attempts to study, know, and understand the totality of the ultimate cause of reality. What metaphysicians have been trying to do throughout the ages is to give a comprehensive account of the whole of reality, its nature, its structure, and the place of man in the universe, as well as in the totality of reality. Some of the questions raised in metaphysics and which it attempts to answer includes the why, the when, the where, and the how of reality. It is also concerned with the nature of existence and its fundamental substratum. It raises questions about human destiny, death, and what lies beyond life. Where do we come from? Where are we going to? Who are we? Where are we? Why are we here, and what is the place of man in the totality of existence? It also raises questions concerning the existence and imperfection of God, and why evil and imperfection exist in a world created and governed by an omnipotent, benevolent, and omniscient being, God. Generally, metaphysics embraces all orders of beings, material or immaterial. In this regard, it studied such notes as substance, accident, cause, effect, goodness, truth, essence, perfection, and unity, actuality, potentiality, relation, matter, form, and so on. In addition to its study of what there is, metaphysics, according to Robert Cohn and Timothy Pickabans, also studies the fundamental structure of reality as a whole. In this regard, it is concerned with how things fit in together to make a world, that is, with the fundamental relations of this worldly structure, the relation between things and their properties, between wholes and their parts, between causes and effects, and between things related to each other in space and in time. This will now lead us to the study of the approaches to metaphysics. Approaches to metaphysics. There are two major approaches to metaphysics: idealist and materialist metaphysics. Idealist metaphysics. Idealist metaphysics or idealism is a philosophical system which gives primacy to idea or spirit over matter in its conception of reality. It denies independent existence of matter and instead holds that reality, including the physical world, is ultimately spiritual or immaterial. There are two kinds of idealism: subjective idealism and objective idealism. Subjective idealism. This holds that physical objects are products of the mind, and they do not have existence independent of the mind. Some exponents of subjective idealism are George Berkeley and Immanuel Kant. Objective idealism. These hold that the physical universe is a self-projection of a spiritual reality. It holds that the physical universe is ultimately spiritual and that matter is not an independent substance, but a reflection of spirit. Some exponents of objective idealism are Plato, Hegel, Fichte, Thomas Hill Green, and Herbert Bradley. Materialist metaphysics. Materialist metaphysics is a system of philosophy which upholds the primacy of matter over spirit or ideas in its view of reality. According to some materialists, only matter exists. Thus, these materialists deny the existence of spiritual or immaterial realities. Other materialists admit the existence of immaterial reality, but maintain that such realities are reducible to matter. For such materialists, matter is the ultimate reality. In general, the crux of materialism is that whatever exists is matter, all reducible to matter in the final analysis. Some materialist metaphysicians include Thales, Democritus, Leucippus, and Epicurus. Some metaphysical problems, essentially all metaphysical problems, are philosophical problems, but not all philosophical problems are metaphysical problems. Metaphysical problems, like all philosophical problems, are problems which defy permanent solutions. These problems have been and will likely be with metaphysics in all ages. These problems include the problem of monism and pluralism, unity and diversity, change and permanence, mind and body, free will and determinism, appearance and reality, essence and existence, universals and particulars, substance and accident, being, and so on. For economy of space and avoidance of duplication, we will not go beyond this point here, because some of these problems will be treated in an independent chapter. Now we turn to epistemology, another main branch of philosophy. Epistemology. Meaning of epistemology. Put simply, epistemology is the study or theory of knowledge. It is the study of the origin, nature, and limits of knowledge. It also studies the sources and the principal grounds of human knowledge, among others. Epistemology explains what knowledge is, what knowledge is not, and responds to the claim whether knowledge is possible. Kinds of knowledge. Philosophers make distinction among three kinds of knowledge. There are propositional knowledge, practical knowledge, and objective knowledge. Propositional knowledge. This is the knowledge that something or other is the cause. The knowledge that Jacob is a 300-level university student, and the knowledge that town A is 5 kilometers from town B. Example of propositional knowledge. Propositional claims are debatable. Practical knowledge. also called skill knowledge, is the knowledge possessed by someone who has the ability or who knows how to do something or the other. It's knowledge of skill acquired by the professor. For example, the knowledge of artisans is an example of practical or skill knowledge. It is knowledge of how to do something. Objective knowledge, which may also be called knowledge by acquaintance, is the knowledge of persons, places, and things. For example, I know John Harry, Lagos, and Faculty of Arts building. In this kind of knowledge, you see it for yourself. The focal point of epistemology is propositional knowledge. What does it mean for an individual to claim he knows that P is a prepositional sense? The conditions of knowledge. Traditionally, truth, belief, and justification are the conditions of knowledge. While each of these conditions constitutes a necessary condition, all put together constitute the sufficient tripartite condition of knowledge. This traditional or classical definition of knowledge was a modification of true belief plus account that was inconclusively reached in a conversation between two persons, Socrates and Theaetetus, in the dialogue or book called Theaetetus. For one to claim that he has knowledge of a proposition, what he claims to have knowledge of must be true. He must believe it, and he must have reason or evidence or justification for believing it, or else he has no knowledge of it. Put schematically, if A knows that P, then P must be true. A must believe P. A must have reasons for believing P. This definition was taken to be the standard account of knowledge for many years until the 20th century. Problems with the traditional account of knowledge. Some philosophers have challenged the traditional tripartite conditions of knowledge that has governed epistemology for millennia. According to this group of philosophers, justified true belief does not constitute the sufficient conditions of knowledge. Some of them argue that it is possible for all the tripartite traditional criteria to be present, and yet it does not constitute knowledge.